Welcome back to Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Roger Hoover with you in Tuscaloosa at Saban Field, Bryant-Denny Stadium. We're inside the Advantage Center at our podcast studio. I'm joined by Alabama softball utility player Alexis Pupillo as we get ready for the start of Team 29. Alexis, it is great to see you. Roll Tide. How are you enjoying January as we get ready for the season to start?
It's definitely great to be back here in T-Town. It's so awesome to be back with all my teammates, be back ready going for school. School started today. I had my first class, and I'm just really excited to get going. Less than 1 month down or away from first pitch. And just ready to get going with the season and everything.
Is it hard to be patient right now, knowing that the season really is just around the corner, but you also know there are things to work on to make sure you're ready for February?
I would say my freshman and sophomore year is definitely hard for me to be patient, but knowing what I know now, it's a little bit easier for me to be patient because now I can use this extra month to make sure that I'm mentally ready to go for my team so that there isn't some sort of breakdown in the middle of the season.
You feel like there are some milestones you kind of need to check off before you can start a season, like a certain amount of at-bats or scrimmages, time with your glove in the field, anything like that?
I think that just going through like my everyday reps and being fundamentally sound and making sure that I am where I need to be is so that during the season, all I have to do is work on my mental approach and mental strategy, and there isn't some sort of mechanical issue or breakdown because the season is so long and it's so fast that there's no room for any type of mechanical, like huge mechanical changes. That's really like what the summer and the fall are for, is to make sure that all your mechanics are down and everything, and then so that you don't really have to worry about it and just focus on the strategy.
What do you love about hitting?
What do I love? I love the idea that I get to hit a ball so hard at somebody. Like I want to hit it through them, and I want them to like fall on their butt because I hit it so hard at them. Like I want my presence to be known when I'm walking up there. Like, sometimes when the big hitters are up, coach comes out of the dugout. It's like, back up, everybody back up. That's what I love. Like I want people to be afraid of me as I'm walking onto the field.
Sounds like you have experience with that. Some line drives have taken
Yes, sir.
people
Yes,
down.
sir. Yes, I do.
Is that more so high school, some of your college stuff at UNI?
I've always been like a strong hitter. Like hitting is like one of my favorite things to do. Like I love softball in every area of it, but like hitting is like what I'm known for and like what I do the most and the area that I hone in on the most. But I mean, I've always been just like a naturally strong person. Like I love working out. I love lifting. I'm like big into powerlifting and stuff like that. So that has definitely played into my game a lot. And like my ability to hit line drives and stuff.
So it seems like you're focused mostly on just hitting it hard. Bat speed, hitting it as fast as you can, right?
I would say that's an aspect of it, but it's not the only aspect. Like you're trying to hit to the big part of the field and you're trying to apply the most pressure on the defense and make it the hardest for them, which is hitting line drives and hitting it hard through people. Like I've gotten away with like hitting a pitch that is not my pitch, but because I swung hard, it made it through the infield and now I'm on base. So it's a aspect of it, but it's not the main aspect of it.
I work more in baseball than softball, so forgive me if it's an ignorant question, but
No.
there's so much like in baseball, they talk now about launch angle with the swing.
Okay.
Is there a lot of that in softball as well?
I would say there's a good amount. I mean, everybody thinks about hitting differently. There isn't just one set way of how to hit. Everybody interprets it differently. How I have learned is less about mechanics and more about the mental approach, mental strategy, applying pressure, anticipating, situational awareness of where runners on, how many outs there are, how many inning or what inning we're in, and stuff like that. So like it's an aspect, but it's not like a determining factor of like, oh,
Definitely don't want to change too much from what
No.
you're trying to do.
no.
That's good. Let's talk about how you first got in this great game.
Got
What was
into
the spark?
softball.
Yeah.
So my dad, he is my best friend in the whole world. We are a huge softball family and like a huge baseball family. He's actually retired now, but he was a minor league baseball umpire, and he did Division I, Division II baseball for close to 30 years. but he retired a couple years ago because he's in his 60s now. He's not moving as good as he used to be, but that's how I got into it, was because of him. He has taught me everything I've ever known about softball. He's my hitting instructor. He's taught me how to catch. He taught me how to play infield, how to play outfield, like hitting, like literally everything. And I started playing when I was 4 years old. Up
Gotcha.
until now, I'm 20. So long time.
Long time. Did you have a good home setup,
What are you talking
like
about?
for hitting and stuff
Oh,
like that? Yeah.
so
Or net or
since
anything?
like living in the Midwest, like it's not always the warmest. So we have like bounced around from facility to facility that's like local to a travel team and stuff like that. Over the wintertime, I was blessed to have the opportunity to give lessons in our indoor facility with a local travel team called Crush Tidal Waves. They're out of like like Cary, Crystal Lake, Illinois area. My dad's also a travel ball coach for them. He's a assistant coach for a 14U team. But I was able to give lessons out there the whole Thanksgiving break and Christmas break. So, and that's also like where I would train and stuff. So,
Oh, that's really cool, especially his experience as an umpire. I mean, did you get to go to where he was umpiring a lot of games in the summers and things like that?
yeah, so in what's called a town called Rosemont, there's a place called the Chicago Dogs. I've watched him go there a couple of times, which is pretty cool because it's like I think it's double A baseball, or maybe it's triple A. I'm not sure, but it's minor league baseball. Also with the Schaumburg Boomers, he's been there a handful of times, and it was really cool getting to watch him, umpire behind the plate. So,
That's really good. You a Chicago sports fan?
yes, we have a huge debate in our house of, because I'm kind of like a mixture of the White Sox and the Cubs. And he's like, no, the White Sox all the way, but they had a terrible season. So,
Hard to claim them right now.
yes, hard to claim.
I'm a big Cubs fan, so I definitely understand that. Well, yeah, great experience again getting to talk about the game with him. He taught you every little thing along the way. Just when did you start having success in the sport? You feel like?
I feel like the moment that I probably hit 14 was like when truly got like serious about recruiting, because ever since I was 10 years old, like I knew I wanted to go play college softball and I knew I wanted to play Division 1 softball. So I mean, I've always been kind of serious about it because like I don't like wasting my time, and I think that for me personally, if I was gonna have my parents pay thousands of dollars for me to go travel to all these places with my travel team, then it better be worth something, because they're not going to spend all this money just for me to want to play through high school. Like that wasn't worth it for me because my parents have done so much for me. Like they have put out so much money to give me as many opportunities as they possibly could so that I could be successful, and I'm so, so grateful for them. But yeah, 14 is when I started to take it seriously.
Where are some of the fun places you got to go and play and travel ball?
I've played in California twice, 2 summers in a row. I've played in Florida. I've played in Tennessee. I've played in Arkansas. I've played in Kansas City close to 40 times since I was 12 all the way until I was 18. I've played in Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Missouri, Iowa. I've played everywhere.
OKC?
No, never in Oklahoma,
Okay.
but
This May and June then.
yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yes, hopefully.
That's certainly the goal to get you to Hall of Fame Stadium. That's a really cool experience, again, as you started getting more attention from colleges. Let's talk, first of all, about the recruiting process the first time around when you do sign with UNI.
So are you talking about like how did I get there?
Yeah, or just, did you enjoy the recruiting process, some of the different schools you were hearing from
I
near the end of high school?
unfortunately didn't really get the opportunity to enjoy the recruiting process because my graduating class was 2022, which was, I don't know if you know, but the COVID deadline for Division 1 to talk to you kept getting increased. And so I felt like time was kind of like not on my side, but I was so blessed to get some people to talk to me and stuff, like go see some pretty cool places and stuff like that, like going to camps and stuff. But I mean, I think I enjoyed it as much as I could. It was definitely a very stressful thing for me because it's like the fear of the unknown of like, am I going to sign somewhere? Is all this work that I've done for the past like 10 years going to like actually pay off, or am I just gonna like go to college and just be a student, like, because that's not what I wanted. So it was scary, but the relief after I had been blessed with the opportunity was like amazing.
What made Northern Iowa the right choice?
Um, I love the campus. I loved they had my major, and it was just a cool place to be. That was yeah, it was cool. Just a cool place to be.
Here in Alabama, we always talk about how cold it is at the beginning of softball season. It's also very cold in northern Iowa to start a season. That included getting to play a little bit indoors. I've seen clips of you hitting home runs in a football facility. What can you tell us about that?
It was really cool because there's not a whole lot of like Midwestern teams that get to play on opening weekend, and like having the opportunity to play on opening weekend was like so cool. Because like, yes, like we were at home, but actually about halfway through the season, it was still cold, and so we had to move inside, which is always a great thing to have the opportunity to do that, because not a whole lot of places have that, especially like mid-major schools and stuff like that. So like it was cool. It was fun. Yeah.
And you got off to a good start. You're the NBC Freshman of the Year. What was it about the transition that allowed you to have success right off the bat?
I would definitely say being prepared. And I tried to make myself like over prepared. Like I didn't take a whole lot of days off. I didn't complain. I just did what I had to do and got my reps in and didn't really slack off and just kept grinding it through, you know.
And it led to success there, but then when did you start thinking about the transfer portal and then seeing maybe what some other options would be out there for you?
I've always wanted to play in a World Series ever since I was a little girl, and I just thought that since I'm only in college for 4 years, that this would be an opportunity for me, and I had to take it because I want to play in a World Series one day, and I hope that it happens this year. But yeah, that was the purpose of it.
When did you first hear from Alabama?
The first day that I was in the portal, I received a email from Murph, and then we had a call. I think either that night or the next day.
And of course, he went to Northern Iowa. Did that connection? You guys talk about that a lot.
Yeah, we did, and we actually have a lot in common because I really enjoy following the UNI volleyball team. They're a really, really, really great program, and Coach Bobby is such an amazing person to listen to, and she's a great coach because he actually was, I think he was a graduate assistant for her when he graduated, and so him and I would like when they were making the NCAA tournament, like we watched and like we were talking about it. And he's like, "Hey, did you see that they won?" I'm like, "Yeah, so cool." So
That's really good. Had you been a fan of like these Alabama teams growing up as a softball fan?
yeah, so I had grown up watching Bailey Hemphill, and when I saw her one time during watching the World Series with my dad, I saw her hit a home run, and I'm like, man, I want to do that. Like, how cool is that? Like, I want to be like her. Like, she is such an amazing person to like aspire to be, and I just hope to be her one day.
And you eventually get to come here. Did you take an official visit? Did you get to kind of check everything out before you signed?
Yeah, so I was able to hop on a plane with my dad, and it was kind of like a quick, kind of like just one day type of thing because they had come home from the super regionals, and like they got in I think at like 3 a.m. and then met me at the airport to pick me up in the morning, and then we like spent the whole day together. And then Coach Adam dropped us off at our hotel that night, and then we both flew home, and then they flew to OKC. So,
Yeah, I imagine they're in a pretty good mood.
yes, they were. Because about an hour after Coach Adam dropped me off, because I wanted to talk to my mom and stuff like that, because it's a family decision. It's not just my decision. But maybe within 30 minutes after he dropped me off, I called Coach Murph and was like, I want to come play for you.
That's pretty special. What was it about this place that really made you solidify that this was the right place for you?
Like the facilities are off the charts. The resources that are available for athletes are just like amazing. And I also wanted like off to the side. I wanted to build my brand because I want to be a college strength coach, and so like I want to have like a little bit of like that background. And like Coach Michelle, who is our strength coach, is really good at what she does, and she also has a lot of resources. And like the weight room is huge. Like I love the weight room, and that was also a deciding factor. But like how beautiful the stadium is, and like they had my major, and it was just like perfectly like laid out for me, and I'm like, man, I got to go here. Like they've been here back to the World Series, I think like 20 years in a row, and I'm like, this is my opportunity to take it. So.
So you get to join Alabama. How'd you use the offseason to really get ready for what's coming up, specifically in the weight room, since that is an area of interest for you?
I just trusted what Coach Michelle had, and I just looked at every workout and attacked it and didn't question anything, and just tried to push me and the person next to me as much as I could, because I know that if I'm pushing myself, I got to push the person next to me in order to get back to OKC. So.
How good is the technology in there? Do you love that
I
instant
love
feedback?
It's amazing. Like they have like this crazy technology. Like there is a thing called a force plate. So it measures your vertical and how much force you're generating up. And like you step on it and they have like an iPad and they're like, all right, you're going to take 2 jumps. You jump and like a whole list of things just comes up of like all these data and everything. And they have this thing called a 1080, which you like strap it to your waist and you like run a certain amount of yards and it measures like your force, how fast you're running, how quick you are for the first 5 yards, which could be like crucial for a first base lead or leading off of a base or anything like that. So yeah, it was really cool.
That's really cool. So a lot of good technology there. How about with the hitting? And have you used video a lot to try and study pitchers from the other teams, study your own swings, things like that?
Yeah, a little bit, but not as much as we do here. There's this thing called blast motion, and I've used it before, but not a whole lot. I've used this technology called Rapsodo, which like measures exit velocity, everything. But I've used it like a handful of times, like not a whole lot, but like we use it a lot. So.
So you transfer into Alabama. This is an Alabama softball program that's really famous for its team chemistry and the concept of mudita, having that joy for others' success. Did that become apparent to you, like as soon as you joined this team, that everybody roots for each other in a great way?
It did because, like Murph always says, person first, athlete second. And immediately as I walked in the door, I felt that. Like I genuinely cared, like felt cared for, and that I wasn't just another number or another person, like being on a team or a roster or anything like that. I've never felt so welcomed by a group of people than I did when I first walked through the door.
And that was really across the roster. Was there anyone that really in particular kind of welcomed you in a great way?
Kendall Clark, she's one of our captains, and Marley, she's also one of our captains. I mean, everybody welcomed me. Like we all get along, and it's rare to have that amongst a team.
That's really special, and that's going to make you fired up for what's coming. Starting just again less than a month away, the softball season will get going. A lot of good games coming up here at Rhodes Stadium. Just what do you want our fans to know about this team?
I want them to know that we have put hours and hours into what we're putting onto the field. So, like, you see something bad happen or something that isn't ideal, don't just automatically think like, oh, this, all of that. No, like it's all a part of the process, and we have worked our butts off to get to this point.
What do you think this group's capable of?
I think anything, honestly. I think that we have put our minds to it. This is the strongest team I've ever been on, the most athletic team I've ever been on. We have so many weapons within our arsenal that I think that we're unstoppable.
We certainly look forward to that. The family making a lot of trips. They're going to be watching you guys play a lot.
Yeah, so my dad is retired. He just does the travel ball thing, which is like not every day. But my mom is also a FedEx driver, so she can take off when she wants. And my brother is taking a gap year for college. So, I mean, I hope that, they can travel a lot. My boyfriend will be coming down a lot. He's from Wisconsin, so yeah.
That'll be cool. Well, we can't wait to see you in Crimson. We're looking forward to this season. Alex, just thank you so much for all the time giving us on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Good luck this year. Roll Tide.
Thank you for having me.